Mhm. Oh my God. Spartan got 1, 2, 3, 4K, fifth, five. Hold on. Let me get my glasses on. Oh, duh. They on my head. Reclaimer, what's up? Arian Drake, what is up? Give me a moment to tweet this out and then go through the introductions. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. All right. Yo, yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you. Let's all be one cohesive unit. Hit the like button, help spread the content to a wider audience, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you can stay notified whenever I put out new content. I would appreciate that as well. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying the content. Bad to the bone, what's up? Arian Drake, what's up? Guy Code, what's going on? So, I'm not going to be on. I'm only going to be on about an hour because I gotta go pick up my girlfriend so we can go to the gym because she's gonna come to my gym with me and see how the gorillas work out. So I'm gonna have to kind of fly through this, and so let's address the biggest the biggest topic first. Jamal Adams Lunkin, what's good? Guru Legends, what's good? And so as a lot of you know, Sick Humor announced yesterday that he was shutting it down, and and it was something I was definitely concerned about because um, he is a friend as well as one of my favorite YouTubers. So it was definitely something I was concerned about. So that prompted me to do a podcast yesterday. And so today, Sick put out a video and expressing the overwhelming love and support that he has received, and that he's not going to leave. Um, but he also took that moment to weed out people that he felt were not true. And so, um, people can call it an experiment, what have you. You know, I have I have no thoughts on that. My thoughts is that I don't see this as whether it was an experiment to see um, who's cool and who's not cool. The way I viewed it is, I'm glad that he's not leaving because again, he's my friend. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and his hangovers. Me, oh my God, Arian Drake House, just looking at you. Flash that one of your comments. Sick Humors. His podcast is like it's like my morning coffee, and and his podcasts take up about half of my week because when you at work, at a machine pressing buttons, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I need content to keep me entertained, to help the day go faster. And Six podcasts were a huge part of that. I mean, he'd do 3, 4 podcasts a week, and they would last anywhere from 2 to 5 hours. So it definitely, he'd do a podcast on a Sunday night. I would watch that the next morning from work, and then he would turn around and do another podcast at about 9, 10 o'clock Eastern time, which was only a couple of hours after I got through watching his podcast from the night before. So after I get done watching the live podcast or listening to the live podcast, my day is just about over, just off of one man putting out content. And so out of Ice Queen Gaming, how you doing? Out of all the YouTubers that I listen to while I'm at work, Sick puts out the most content. Therefore, he is the biggest. He is the biggest piece of me getting through the week. In terms of being at work. There's been a bunch of times where Sick went live on a Sunday night, and I wanted to watch, the podcast, but I had to discipline myself not to watch the podcast so I would have something to listen to the next day at work. So in this morning was a prime example. I listened to Draco Rex, Royal Flush Gaming. I listened to his podcast this morning, and shout out to him, because he had a pretty good podcast yesterday. Um, and I had to make it a point to wait till today to watch it, so listen to it, so I'd have some content to listen to. And so that's the effect that Sick had, because a big piece of my Monday was missing because because there was no podcast from him. And like I said, his podcasts are like my morning coffee. And so with that being said, his video that he put out today, call it what you will. My thing is that I'm glad that he's here. Did you hear about Ice Queen Gaming? Did you hear about Microsoft Project X Cloud gaming system? Yes, I did. That came courtesy of Ryan the Professional. I did watch his video, and that is definitely something that I'm going to cover. I just didn't have enough room in the title to fit it in there, because I've got several thoughts on that, and so I'm gonna have to fly through these I'm gonna have to fly through these subjects, because like I said, I got to take off in about 45 minutes, about an hour, to go pick up my girlfriend. So with that being said, so to close the book, on the Sick humor situation, I'm glad that he's still here. Whatever he decides to do moving forward in terms of having podcasts, if he chooses to continue with the PlayStation Plus podcast, what's up, Stardust? Whatever he chooses to do, I hope that I'm still a part of that. Like I said, he's one of my favorite YouTubers, and I definitely enjoy his content. The man is intelligent, the man is funny, and the man is entertaining. So shout out to Sick. I'm glad he's back. And so moving on to the next subject, Guerrilla Games is hiring. And as some of you know, Guerrilla Games are the developers for Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as the Killzone franchises. And normally when I hear about a developer hiring someone, a lot of times that goes in one ear and out the other, because I usually could care less about that kind of stuff. All I care about is the final product. How is it going to look? How is it going to run? So I'm not going to go diving into oh, they hired this person, oh, they hired that person, oh, this person's a fuck up. I don't get into that kind of stuff, because I don't know the reputations of these people that jump from publisher to jump from developer to developer, or jump from company to company. So the only thing I really know, in the Guerrilla Games hiring, that this information comes courtesy of Spawn Wave. I watched this video today, and the reason why I brought that up, the reason why the Guerrilla Games hiring, made my ears perk, is because I guess they hired some people from the Rainbow Six team. So that, had my ears perking right there. And I think it makes me wonder, if they're hiring people from the Rainbow Six team, then there's a pretty good guess they are probably working on the next Killzone or some other type of first person shooter. Whatever it is they are working on, I'm hoping that they are well into development of this next franchise. And I'm just hoping that these people that were brought in were, here to make the final push to get this product ready. I'm assuming that whatever it is they're working on is going to be a launch title for the PS5. And so, again, I'm hoping that they are well into development of whatever it is they are working on. And I hope that it will be ready when the PS5 comes out. So the big, but the real big reason why this caught my attention is because Sony promised that they were going to double down on their first party games, and they were going to double down on VR, and they promised to bring bigger and better experiences. And I've said this before, that I really believe next generation that we're going to start seeing full blown games in VR. So where I'm going with this is, I'm not saying that they are working on Killzone and it's going to be full blown VR. But what I'm saying is, I am wondering if they are working on the next Killzone, and will it be a game where you can play it both flat screen or in VR, where you can play the entire game in VR? Because I would like to think that the PS5, whatever it is they're working on, if they add a VR mode to it, I would like to think that the PS5 is going to be powerful enough to push it. So it won't. So I don't think they'll be limited. Iron Fist, what's up? Samuel, what's up? Emmy Khan, what's up? So I don't think they'll be limited by the hardware. I think they'll only be limited by their imagination and whether they would want to take a chance on something like VR. But I would like to think that whatever it is they're working on, Sony's going to publish it. So Sony's going to be bankrolling it. So if Sony wants VR included into this, it will be in there. So that is my hope. I would love to be able to play Killzone in full blown VR. The way you played Jakku, what's up? The way you play Resident Evil 7, the way you had a choice to play that entire game flat screen or play the entire game VR. That's what I'm hoping we'll see. That's what I'm hoping we'll see, that whatever Guerrilla Games is working on. Because a lot of, I have to be honest, a lot of the VR games is there. There's a ton of games there, but they're so short that some of them seem, incomplete, like a lot of them, like there's more, like you wanting more, like you wish they added more to it. So I think that maybe Guerrilla Games is working on the first step of what I'm hoping Sony means by bigger and better VR experiences. So I really hope that they, whether it's Killzone or some other kind of first-person shooter, I hope that whatever it is, it will include, VR. So that's just a thought. I don't have any kind of sources. I haven't read any kind of articles that would indicate that. It's just something that flashed through my head. But I do believe, I don't know who's going to end up doing it first, but I do believe one of these first party developers for Sony is going to make a full blown AAA game with some kind of VR added. I just don't know who's going to do it first. So, but if it would be Killzone, I did like the Killzone games. I loved Killzone 2, Killzone Shadowfall. The story started out slow. I nearly got rid of it, but I stayed with it and ended up liking it. So it was a pretty cool game. So that's where I sit on that. Next, let's move on to Astro Bot. And I played that game, last night. I touched on it for about 5 minutes Saturday night. And I was like, okay, looks like a decent game. But I actually put some real time into it yesterday. And I did a stream. For those who tuned into that stream, shout out to all of you. I really appreciate it. And I did a stream for about 2 hours. He said Killzone Shadowfall was my favorite Killzone. Okay, cool. And Reclaimer Guerrilla Games has 2 studios. So one of them is working on Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and the second studio is working on Killzone. Hey, but whatever it is, I just hope they are including some kind of VR in that Killzone. But back to the Astro Bot thing. I streamed for about 2 hours, and I'm a person that's not into platformers, not usually. But something about that game had me curious. It got a lot of praise. It got a pretty good Metacritic score. I had heard that it was, got a Metacritic score of 89. And Sick Humor said it got a Metacritic score of 90. 89 or 90, either is great, especially for a VR game. That's huge. And then I find out that I believe that Astro Bot is the fastest selling game on the PlayStation VR. And that is very impressive because I wasn't sure how well this game would do. Because one, it's a platformer, so I don't know how many people would be into a platformer in VR. Number two, the game is $40, so I don't know how many people would be willing to spend $40 on it. So, but I'm really happy to hear that that game is doing great, and it's always cool to hear stories about people who went out and bought a PlayStation VR, just for a specific game. So I was hearing it with Firewall, how people were going out and buying PlayStation VRs just for the sole purpose of being able to play Firewall, and now I'm hearing it again that people are going out and buying PlayStation VRs for the sole purpose of being able to play Astro Bot, and I think that's huge, and this and I'm really glad to hear that news. I mean, because the VR community continues to grow, and you know what? Ice Queen Gaming. I'm going to get to that Crackdown thing. I've said that more than once, but I'll say it again when I get into this cloud stuff. But with Astrobot, hell, King Thrash liked it. And he agreed that he thinks it's the best game on the PlayStation VR. So that's really cool to hear coming from him. But he's wide open with his choice of games. And he strikes me as the type of person that there's nothing that he won't try. Oh yeah, Samuel, is definitely a Scarlet game now. That's what I was trying to tell everybody these last couple of days. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and say it now, Ice Queen Gaming. I do not think Crackdown 3 is going to get canceled. I think Microsoft keeps stalling everybody out with Crackdown until Scarlet is ready, because Scarlet is powerful enough to be able, it should be powerful enough to be able to push Crackdown. So I think it's going to end up being a launch title for Scarlet. I think that was the whole plan, from the get-go. When they gave some kind of February release date, that was a bunch of hogwash. I think that was just a PR move to respond to everybody asking, hey, we haven't heard from Crackdown. Sony's giving a bunch of release dates, but we're not getting anything on Crackdown. What's going on with it? And then, they're going to go off and give a release date. I think it was on the same day the Days Gone is supposed to release. I mean, that would have been suicide. So, but I don't think that was, Emmy Khan, I don't think it's about the game being delayed. I think Microsoft already has their mind made up that they're going to release this game on the new console. I think they're just, telling everybody every couple of months that the game needs more polish, the game needs to be worked on. I think they already have their mind made up that they're going to release it on the next console. I don't think this is a situation where they start working on it, test it, and then, oh shit, it's not running right, we need more time. I think they already got their mind made up. They're going to release it on Scarlet. I said that about a week and a half ago when Phil Spencer said something. I don't know exactly what he said, but when he mentioned something about Crackdown again, at that point, that's when I said, okay, now it's become obvious. They're just trying to stall people out and just push Crackdown 3 back to Scarlet. So you heard it from me, and you seen Samuel typed it in the comments that Crackdown 3 will release on Scarlet. And so, so closing thoughts on Astro Bot Impressions. I gave the game a 9. I had a lot of fun with the game. I thought it was a game I was only going to play for about 5 minutes and then put it down, but I have thoroughly enjoyed the game. I had a lot of fun with that game. And I don't know if I've ever done that before with a platformer before. I don't think, let's freak out about a 6-day delay. I said, no. That's coming out. Like Robert McLeod, it's coming out on Scarlet. And then Andre 6K. And the fact that I believe that Microsoft is stalling us out and going to release Crackdown 3 on Scarlet, I think that is another sign that Scarlet is going to come out in 2019. Here's another, and I'm going to get to that in a second. So just let me just close this, close the Astro Bot impressions, that I think is a great game. If you have a PlayStation VR or you're looking to get a PlayStation VR, it is definitely a game that I would recommend. God of Games, what's up? It's definitely a game I would recommend. And I'm telling you, boy, hats off to Sony. Another hit. I mean, the hits just keep coming from Sony, hit after hit after hit. We already had our flat screen games, with God of War and Spider-Man, Detroit Become Human, Shadow of the Colossus, this year for 2018. And then, we had a smash hit with Firewall, and now we got another smash hit with Astro Bot. And see, and Astro Bot is not only making news throughout the VR community, it's making news throughout, the gaming community as a whole. So everybody, even people who don't have any interest in playing VR, has heard about, the good praise that Astro Bot is getting, the Metacritic score and that kind of stuff. So that's, to me, that's huge. That's getting people, curious about VR, and I think, and I'm hoping that Sony, Twisted Sin, what's up? I'm hoping that Sony will have another sale, around Black Friday, hopefully more sooner than later. Astro Bot is amazing. I hope they have another sale more sooner than later, so I can see some more of these VR units fly off the shelf, because I really, really, really want to see this community grow. And I'm really hopeful that I'm still sticking to my guns about the PS5 releasing in 2019, November of 2019. With that being said, I hope that Sony can hit 4 million VR units sold before the next generation starts. I really want to see them hit that. I think they're already well on their way there, because if I had to, I have no data to back this up, but if I had to guess, how many more VR units got sold just off of Firewall alone, I'd like to think they sold anywhere from another 100 to 200,000 headsets just off of Firewall alone. And now, they have the success of Astro Bot, and then you see that they have an Astro Bot bundle, because I bought a new PlayStation VR Saturday, and it was a Astro Bot and Moss bundle, and that was right up my alley, because Moss and Astro Bots were two games that I was curious about, two games that I wanted to play, but I didn't want to pay the full price for them. So getting them in that bundle for the new PSVR, which I was looking to get one anyway, was right up my alley. And I think I never thought I'd say this about a platformer, but I think if you have a VR, Astro Bot is a must-have. So, don't just take it from me. Talk to other YouTubers that's got the game. I haven't heard anything negative about Astro Bot. So there you have it. Twister said, I'm sure next gen VR games is going to have more amazing experiences. I want a full-blown AAA Astro Bot game that is even bigger. Hey, I think that very well could happen. Twister said, if I had to make a guess, I would probably say the chances are 60-40 that it will happen, given that I'm hearing that Astro Bot is this fastest selling game on the PlayStation VR, along with the good praise and everything that it's got. I would like to think that, yes, you will see an Astro Bot 2 for the next generation. It's probably going to look a lot better. It's probably going to be a full-blown AAA game that maybe might have like 20 hours of playtime. Who knows? But I mean, the future for VR looks bright. So I'm extremely excited to see what the future holds for VR. So that's my thoughts on the Astro Bot impressions. So moving on to the final subject that I wanted to talk about, and that is this Xbox cloud gaming service. This comes courtesy of Ryan the Professional. He posted a video today, and he basically just let the announcement trailer roll of Phil Spencer and his crew talking about cloud gaming services and that kind of stuff. Now, here is what I'm taking from that. We knew that some kind of an announcement was going to come sooner or later. But here is my thought Um, yeah, VR looks bright, just not for Xbox. Exactly. Now, here's my thoughts on what I'm taking from this cloud gaming service. Number one, I think that the announcement of the cloud gaming service is another sign that Xbox Scarlet will probably hit in 2019. Because pure perfection. What's up? Because I find it. I don't know how business works. I don't know what Microsoft is thinking, but I'm just thinking about it from a realistic standpoint. Because there's definitely a timetable involved. I would like to think that Microsoft is not going to announce a cloud gaming service, which is going to be the centerpiece of their vision moving forward. So moving forward, the cloud gaming service and Scarlet are the two critical pieces of their vision moving forward. And I just have this feeling, I just don't think Microsoft would announce this cloud gaming service and Scarlet is still 2-3 years away. I think Scarlet is closer than you think if they made this cloud service announcement. I think Scarlet is real close because I mean, I don't know when this cloud gaming service is supposed to go live, officially. But if they're announcing it now, it's got to be pretty close. And in my opinion, I just can't see Microsoft announcing the cloud service today, but yet the console that's going to be featured on this cloud service is still 2-3 years out. I just can't see that. But with that being said, I'll have to go back. I wasn't able to watch Ryan's entire video, so I have no I just don't know when this cloud service is actually going to take off, when it's actually going to go live. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to go live before the end of the year, and then within a year we see we see Scarlet. When the Xbox first launched, Xbox Live was not up and running yet. The original Xbox launched first, but I think Xbox Live came like a year later. I just don't see Microsoft waiting 2 or 3 years to launch Scarlet if they are announcing this cloud service today. I just don't see it. Robert McLeod, of course, Microsoft lies a lot, but they're definitely not lying about this cloud service. Now, they might lie about what this cloud service entails. They may lie about what you're going to get for your money, depending on what service package you pay for. Yeah, they might lie about that kind of stuff, but they're not lying about the service itself. It is coming. And like I said, the fact that they announced that service today tells me that Scarlet is not far behind. And here's the other thing that I can see happening. Here's another reason why I can see Scarlet launching in 2019. I would be led to believe that since the streaming version of Scarlet is going to be an oversized fire stick, I would be led to believe that it's not going to take much to build this console, and it's not going to take long to build this console. I would be led to believe that building the streaming box of Scarlet, they could get that done a lot faster than the traditional console for Scarlet. So I wouldn't be surprised if the streaming box Scarlet launches next year around 2019, just like the PS5, and then the traditional console ends up coming out like 3, 4, 5 months later. Because since that might have more guts in it, it might take a little bit longer to work on. That is my belief. So, Twisted Sin, with our internet infrastructure right now, I don't see this going well. I agree with that 100%. But Microsoft seems to think they got this thing figured out. But we know how Microsoft operates. We know how much they lie, and we know Microsoft will make no bones about releasing a broken product in order to get the jump on Sony. I mean that and Microsoft has a history of releasing broken products. Look no further than their Windows operating system. Every one of those things they release is broken, and it takes years of updates. And by the time the thing starts working the way you want it to, here comes the next operating system, which releases broken. They released an Xbox 360 that had multiple things wrong with it, but they were so concerned about getting a jump on Sony that they released a console that wasn't ready yet. And I think that myself, Sony, they pushed the PS3 back 1 year. They said it wasn't ready yet. I think the fact of the matter is, I think the PS3 was ready, but I think because the Xbox got out there first and they released a console that was $200 cheaper than theirs, Microsoft had already sucked up a big portion of those first wave of shoppers. So I think Sony waited until the next year to release the PS3 when it wouldn't be anybody out there to compete with them. Because if you release your console for $600 at the same time that your competitors releasing a console for $400, you do the math. I mean, you saw what happened at the beginning of this generation when Microsoft tried to launch that Xbox One at $500 and the more powerful PS4 launched at $400. I mean, that right there culminated in a bunch of things that didn't go Microsoft's way for this generation. The new Xbox, the new cell phone, just might be. Lastly, I think another reason why Microsoft announced this cloud gaming service is to take everybody's mind off of that paywall that Fortnite sits behind. It was only a couple of weeks ago that Sony basically shocked the gaming world by going ahead and agreeing to crossplay. And then those that were pushing for crossplay all of a sudden went silent. And then there were a few voices that were wanting Microsoft to drop that paywall, with myself being one of them, to drop that paywall and let the free game be a free game. But you haven't heard anything from Microsoft. And I said it. I told you guys it was going to happen. Microsoft was not going to drop that paywall because corporations take money. They don't give it back. Microsoft was not going to drop that paywall because Fortnite brings them a ton of money, from people having to subscribe to Xbox Live in order to play the game. So these voices, these voices that were screaming for Microsoft to drop that paywall, it just wasn't going to happen. I knew Microsoft was going to do it. They were going to make a couple of announcements to make everybody forget about the paywall. And the first announcement was Phil Spencer coming out, like a week or two ago, saying some stuff about Crackdown. And as soon as he said that, I didn't hear a thing about crossplay anymore. Everybody was talking about Crackdown. Now we have the Xbox Cloud Service announcement. Still no word, nobody's talking about Fortnite. Those two announcements were distractions to make everybody forget about that paywall. And my guess is that, expect another announcement from Microsoft probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think if nobody says anything about Fortnite, maybe Microsoft will lay low for a little while until they're ready to put out their next garbage ass inside Xbox. But if people start raising a ruckus about Fortnite again, Microsoft will come out with another announcement about Scarlet to take people's mind off of it. Because I think even if Microsoft is targeting 2020 for Scarlet, I think they are fucking with people and making them think that 2019 is the target. I think they might, they could possibly be doing that to play chess with Sony. And I think now I think these announcements are going to come as a distraction to get people's mind off of Fortnite and that paywall. Ice Queen Gaming, you said there's no point having an Xbox One X. Then they are going to bring out another Xbox, but you have to keep in mind that when the Xbox One came out, Microsoft advertised that thing as if it was a next generation console. And because they led people to believe that the Xbox One X was a next generation console, even though they said it's not a next generation console, they advertised it that way. They marketed it that way. And so they led people into believing that that was a next generation console. So I think those who bought the Xbox One X bought it thinking that they wouldn't need to buy another console for another 3 or 4 years. But now you have all these problems with the Xbox One X, where a lot of these games are not reliable, with the frame drops and the screen tearings and that kind of stuff. Not to mention that I'm led to believe that Microsoft developed the Xbox One X as a knee-jerk reaction to learning about, Project Neo, which happens to be the PlayStation Pro. So, open world Killzone, that's very well possible, Spartan God. You said you've seen so many lies about the X, it's just getting funnier and funnier. Absolutely, got games. So we're going to have Xbox Live, Game Pass, xCloud 3 services, 3 payments. Sony has PS Plus and PS Now with free multiplayer, only 2 payments. Yeah, boy, that was a little bit of a tongue twister reading all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, Twisted Sin. I just got the notification that Porter Rock just put up a new video. Will Xbox hardware fade away like Zune? Mr. Pyle, what is up? I haven't gone to the gym yet. I'm going to the gym once I get done with the stream. And my girlfriend gets out of work in about 20 minutes. So I'll be taking off here shortly to go pick her up, and then we're headed to the gym. So, but in the meantime, I still been getting my cardio in, playing Creed. But I've lost since Creed came out, I've lost about 7 pounds. So now I'm at the point where I'm going to have to start disciplining myself not to play the game every single day, because I don't want to fuck around and get too small. I don't want to drop under 200 pounds. The Cyber Dragon, you mentioned in several media YouTube channels about the Xbox paywall. I get thumbs up, agreeing replies, yet the channels keep ignoring it as if they are afraid to say anything. I mean, those are probably the Xbox centric channels that are acting like they're scared to say something. I think on the PlayStation side, some of them may not even care because they're probably too busy enjoying their games. And the PC people may not care because they don't have to pay for any of that kind of shit. They won't stand for it. If Microsoft even thinks about implementing that shit again, they'll take a stand again. You're Robert McLeod, you too old to go to the gym? I beg to differ. I'm 51 years old, and I'm not too old to go to the gym. You're never too old to live healthy. Mr. Pyle, time for the pump, then hump. I don't know, man, because I don't know. When we get done at the gym, we got some shopping to do, amongst other things. I'll take that, Spartan God. I'll take that as a compliment, but you know, I'm on the road back. Ice Queen Gaming, you're 38 years old. Cool. Spartan God is 275 trillion years old. Then you should be able to tell us about, where the caveman originated from then. And you could tell us if you actually seen a megalodon then. So there's my thoughts on the latest news. Ice Queen Gaming, if you say I look about 45, that's starting to catch up to me because when I was 21, people still thought I was 14, 15 years old. I've said that before, that when I would go to buy beer, um, some of the stores would try to keep my ID because they tried to say that I had fake ID. So they would try to keep it and try to tell me, oh, you got to go down to the police station to get your ID back, shit like that. So I had to raise a ruckus a couple of times, about them trying to keep my license. Um, but I don't know. I don't think, this picture, I don't think this picture is very clear because this picture is kind of blown up. It was taken from a distance right after I got done working out. So, you can't even see my eyes. And that's why you see that shadow, because that picture was kind of taken from a distance and blown up. And that was fresh after a workout too. Uh, you know, I am a little bit smaller from being out of the gym. Um, I only started back up at the gym last week. I started working out last Wednesday, but before that, I hadn't been in the gym since Firewall launched. Because I was too busy playing Firewall, and then I wasn't helping my situation by my girlfriend and I going out to eat a couple of times a week, eating pizzas and shit like that. So it was finally time to cut that shit out and get back to it. So it's gonna take some time to get back what I lost, but I've been down this road before, so I'm not worried about it. So that's enough of the steroid workout shit and stuff like that. So hey, thanks, Pio. I have been told that. I have been told that I look like I'm in my late 30s. I left out some things I ate, huh? Well, let me see. I ate a fettuccine Alfredo microwave dinner for lunch at work. And in the evening, I eat a chicken breast and just dip it in barbecue sauce. Actually, I eat a couple of chicken breasts. Um, yeah, I see you right there, God of Games. You don't smoke, but when you buy smokes for someone that smokes, you get an ID. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I see you right there, Robert McLeod. When you weren't at the beach or skateboarding, you were gaming. And Clay, how many grams of protein do you eat? I do about 300 a day. See, Pile, then you know about that saying about where people say that in order to build muscle, for every pound that you weigh, you have to take in um, a gram and a half of protein a day. And so right now, even with I currently weigh 205 pounds. Um, and the protein drinks that I take are usually about maybe 25 grams a serving. So with that being said, there's no way I'm going to drink 10 cups of protein shakes a day. As far as eating clean food goes, chicken breasts. No, I mean, no, Pyro. I don't. There's no way I take in that much grant. There's no way I could take in that much protein because I wouldn't be able to eat that much food or drink that much protein shakes a day. I was, when I was eating about 6 times a day, when I was going out of my way to put on weight, I was probably taking in maybe 200 grams a day, maybe a little bit more. But right now, shit. Um, because I hadn't been working out since Firewall came out, I was making it a point to not take in a bunch of grams of protein because I thought it would be wasted protein if I'm going to take in all this protein and I'm not going to be working out. But now that I'm working out again, so yeah, I'm getting back to drinking protein shakes and I'm eating chicken breasts. So, when I'm back in full swing, I'll probably be taking in around 200 grams again. So, But yeah, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take in a bunch of protein if I'm not going to be working out. So, um, wow, you said you super hardcore. Yeah, I was super hardcore too. You did 4 plates. That's if you did 4 plates of 45, that's 405 pounds. 25 reps, per bench on Friday of 400 pounds. Um, if you benched 405 pounds 25 times, I'm sure you must be built like a damn gorilla, and I'm sure you have been accused of being on steroids, because I've been accused of being on steroids a number of times myself. As far as my strength goes, the most I've ever benched, I benched 305 pounds on the decline bench. I benched 295 on the flat bench, and I benched 275 on the incline bench. But I haven't gone that super heavy in a while, so it's like when I go to the gym, I usually stick with about 225. I usually, rep out 225 as many times as I can, and seeing the fucked up part about it is I fucked my shoulder up earlier this year. So that caused me to lose a lot of strength. So it was only like a couple of months ago that I was able to start benching 225 again. So now I'm at the point where right now I can only bench 225 maybe 6-7 times. It's going to be a while before I get my strength back, because I'm still, this shoulder is still recovering. Sarah's the Great, I spoke on that Xbox cloud service. Long story short, I think that's another sign that Scarlett is coming in 2019. I also think that Microsoft announced this cloud service as another distraction, so people can forget about that firewall, that paywall that Fortnite is behind. Sorry about that. So, Uh, hey, you said Arian Drake. I've been accused of being on steroids by Diver alone. Yeah, yeah. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Take it. I mean, right now, because of the size that I've lost from the shoulder injury and being out of the gym, because I've missed a lot of time throughout this entire year. I have missed a lot of time in the gym. I've been out of the gym for like 3 months because of that shoulder injury. I had started working out again. I was starting to get my size back, and then Firewall came out, and I stopped going to the gym because I was playing that so damn much, because I was addicted to it. And I'm just now, getting to the point where I'm saying, all right, I got to buckle down and get back into the gym. So I've lost some size. So, I mean, I'm still built the way you see right there in that picture. Is just not as big. My arms is not as big right now. So it's probably gonna take a few months to get it back. So, but it is what it is. Yeah, God of Games, that shoulder injury had me so fucked up, man, that I was like kind of depressed, because I thought it was gonna need surgery, because when I was moving the shoulder around, it almost felt like bone on bone. It was hurting that damn much. And then whenever I would go to sleep, if I rolled over on that shoulder, it hurt so fucking bad it was waking me up in the middle of the night. So, but hey, we back on the right track, and my girl gonna jump in, and she gonna do her thing on the treadmill. So we gonna go in and have us a good workout today. So, but I'm gonna get ready to shut this down here in about 10-15 minutes, because I got to get ready to go pick her up. Um, you said it's Diver in jail when he talks on the podcast. Yeah, God of Games. When I messed my shoulder up, there was a lot of exercises I couldn't do. Um, I couldn't reach over my head and do lat pull downs. I couldn't do the decline bench. I couldn't do any of the benches. Do I take pre-workouts? Sometimes. If I have it, I'll take it. But if I don't have it, hey, the show still must go on. And I don't take any particular kind of pre-workouts. I just buy whatever's on sale. Because that shit can be expensive, especially if you go to GNC. So, but well, let me get ready to close this out, and get away from this gym thing, because this is I know a lot of you games want to hear about gaming and not this gym shit. But yeah, Christopher Hart. That the reason why I brought up Guerrilla Games hiring is because I'm hoping that whatever they're working on, because we know they're a developer for Sony, and because they hired some people from the Rainbow Six Siege team, I'd like to think that they're probably working on the next Killzone, which will probably launch on the PS5, and I'm hoping that they're going to add a VR mode to it. And that's why, I brought that up, because Sony is promising to bring bigger and better experiences to VR. And I think what they mean by that is you're going to see a lot more full-blown AAA games where you have a choice to play the game flat screen or play it in VR. So, keep your fingers crossed and hope whatever they're working on, they add VR to it. Mr. Pyro, my top 3 consoles, no particular order. I would definitely the Sega Dreamcast. That console was ahead of its time. I think that console was an amazing console. It's just really bad. It's really unfortunate it didn't take off the way it should have. The original Xbox, this was before I learned what kind of shiesty company Microsoft is. And I don't think Microsoft were as shiesty as they are now. I don't think Microsoft was as bad then as they are now. So the Sega Dreamcast, the original Xbox, and this PS4. I think those are probably my top 3 consoles. The PS1, the only game I really played on the PS1 was Tekken. Tekken 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that was, truth be told, the Tekken games were the only reason I even bought a PS1. And to make it even more fucked up is that at the time that I went looking for a PS1, all the new ones were sold out. So I had to, so I was at the mercy of GameStop back when they were called Electronic Boutique. If I'm not mistaken, I think the whatever the price of the PS1 was, whether it was 200 or 300, they sold me a used PS1 for only $20 cheaper than a new one. So they basically raped me. And it was one of those launch model PS1s where it was freezing and you would have to turn it upside down to make it play games right. And so, with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to get on out of here. I'm kind of, ran out of shit to talk about. I appreciate everybody in the in the comment section, giving your thoughts. I definitely appreciate that. Want to give a shout out to my man Sick. I'm glad he's not leaving. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's still here. I hope he will continue to provide content. He said he may not be doing it as much, but whenever he does it, I'll take it, because I definitely enjoy his content. So shout out to Sick Humor. Hope this Guerrilla Games thing, I hope they add VR. Astro Bot, if you got VR, Astro Bot is a must have. Pick it up. It is definitely um, I think yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw that Twitter clip. Excuse me. So definitely, if you have a VR, you definitely want to pick up Astro Bot. And I think they described it right. They're calling Astro Bot the Mario of VR, and I think they hit it right on the button. I think, and again, shout out to Sony, and I don't know who the developers are for Astro Bot, but shout out to those developers, because they got another hit on their hands, and and that's really impressive because that is a second straight game, in my opinion, that Sony has put out that crossed over into the gaming mainstream. It wasn't just contained to the VR community. Everybody knows about Firewall. Now everybody knows about Astrobot. So shout out to Sony. Keep it coming. Keep those hits coming. I really appreciate it. And I said it again. I said it again for the millionth time. Sony has made it a great time to be a gamer. I'm having a time of my life. And Mr. Pio, before I get ready to go, I would give Astrobot a 9. So I couldn't believe that I was playing that game for 2 hours. I streamed it for 2 hours, and I couldn't believe that I was playing it that much. I originally thought that, okay, I'd probably put it down after about 15 or 20 minutes. But I played that game for 2 hours. I couldn't believe it, So it's a good game. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a nice change of pace. And it's definitely a game where I can, enjoy VR and sit down for once, with Firewall and Creed, you get a better experience if you stand up. Well, with Creed, you have no choice but to stand up because you actually got to move your feet a little bit. You still got to stay within that box, but you can still move your feet a little bit. But so with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to get on out of here. It's time for me to go get my girl. We about to go hit the gym, pump some iron, and if I get back at a decent hour, I will stream something again. I may stream some more Astrobot, or Reclaimer has asked me if I would stream GT Sport and VR again, so I might do that tonight too. So we'll see how I feel when I get back, if I get back at a decent hour. So with that being said, if I make it back at a decent hour, I'll see you guys on whatever game I decide to stream. If I don't stream anything tonight, I will see you guys tomorrow on the Roundtable Podcast. You make sure you hook up with us then. The usual crew should be there. Me, Thrash, Draco, Diver, Ian, and Fatal Mephisto if he joins us. So make sure you catch us on the Roundtable Podcast tomorrow. So with that being said, that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody watching. Give it a like. Make sure you lock the door on your way out. Thanks for coming to Wakanda. And I will catch you guys later. Y'all be easy.